Welcome to Chapter 4 of the Washington State Beekeepers Association Beginner's Beekeeper Certification, where we will look at installing a package or a NUC. In Chapter 4, we will cover two sections, how to install a package of bees as well as how to install a NUC. But first we will cover ordering bees, when and where to expect them, and how to safely transport them. Normally, suppliers begin taking orders for packages of bees and NUCs in January or February, and sometimes as early as October. While some suppliers offer packages of bees by mail order, you will need to carefully track the location of the shipment to ensure that you know when and where they will arrive, or if you need to pick them up at the nearest customer service center. It is important to provide a weather-protected area for the bees to be dropped off in the event that you are not home to accept a delivery. There are stories about bees being held at the customer service center waiting for pickup over a weekend and the bees not having enough food to survive, as well as packages being left on the front step in a rainstorm. The bees will normally arrive around the middle of April, and it is your responsibility to pick them up at the site designated by the supplier. If you have to drive for any length of time to pick up the bees, be prepared and plan for a safe and secure trip by following these helpful tips. When transporting bees, you should pick them up either early morning or late evening, as these are the coolest part of the days and will cause less stress on the bees. You want to ensure that the bees are secure in the vehicle and there is no chance of them tipping over or escaping when returning to your location. However, if you're transporting bees inside of a vehicle, bring a mesh-type laundry bag to prevent them from escaping. It is always advisable to bring your suit or veil in the event the unforeseeable happens and your vehicle becomes full of bees. It is wise not to plan any stops between picking up the bees and taking them to their destination. You also want to ensure that the bees have good ventilation, as they will overheat very quickly without it. A package of bees weighs approximately 3 pounds and contains about 10,000 bees, along with the queen in her own cage, and a can of sugar syrup to feed them during the shipment. When installing a package of bees, you will need a hive tool to pry the can of sugar water from the box. However, before lifting the can straight up and out, make sure that you have a piece of wood, cardboard, or something to cover the hole until you're ready to install the bees. After removing the can of sugar syrup, you want to remove the queen cage attached to the metal tab by sliding it toward and out of the hole in which you removed the can. Also, remember to recover the hole with the wood or the cardboard. Being careful not to push the cork into the queen cage, remove it with a finishing nail, a dental pick, or a small knife. If the cage does not already have candy in it, place your finger over the opening and gently push a miniature marshmallow into the opening. The miniature marshmallow will allow the bees to slowly eat through it and release the queen into the hive. Using the metal tab on the queen cage, hang it inside the hive, placing the cage so that the screen is facing away from the foundation, giving the bees access to feed the queen through the wire mesh so that she does not starve. Place the queen cage 3 to 4 frames in from the side toward the middle of the frame, not right on the side of the wall of the hive. The metal tab attached to the queen cage will allow you to secure the cage by bending it over the top of the frame or a top bar. The first photo is an installation of a Langstroth hive, and the second photo shows a top bar installation. Once the queen is secured in the hive, shake the bees down and pour them into the hive as well. You may have to shake repeatedly until the majority of the bees are removed. When doing this, many bees will fly around while a few will still be in the package. The bees that are flying around will pick up the scent of the hive and find their way inside the entrance. Place the package with the remaining bees on the ground near the hive opening, and they will find their way in as well. Close the hive and allow the bees to get adjusted to their new home. In 2 to 3 days after installing the bees, return to the hive to ensure that the queen has been released. Now you have just installed a package of bees. Watch the video on installing the package after you finish this video. Next, we'll look at installing a NUC. A NUC is a small working colony that consists of 5 drawn frames with bees, stores, and a laying queen that comes in a waterproof wax cardboard box, a wooden NUC box, or a plastic Pro NUC box. The 5 frames in a NUC are normally made up of 1 honey frame, 1 pollen frame, and 3 frames with eggs, brood, and larvae. However, I would tell you, depending on where you get your NUCs, your 5th frame may be half drawn or even empty, as well as the queen in a cage. Before transferring the frame to your hive, you should first consider the location of your hive. Keep in mind, after you pick up your NUC, you want to put them in the location where the hive will be and open the entrance to let the bees fly for an hour or 2. During this time, you should prepare your equipment for installation by placing 2 frames on each side of a 10-frame hive and 1 frame on each side of an 8-frame hive. When you are ready to install the NUC, start with the frame closest to you by pulling it out very slow so that you do not roll or kill the queen. Place the frame in the center of the brood box one by one in the order and direction that you remove them from the NUC box. Remember to remove all of the bees from the NUC boxes, as this is a good way to lose your queen. After you have placed all of the frames in the hive, put the inner cover, the feeder, and the outer cover on the single deep box until it becomes 75% full, at which time you will place the second deep on and repeat this step until it reaches 75% as well. Please watch the how to install a package and NUC video following this one.